Hello, sweet souls. It is DTO in the flow, wanting you to know that it is another day in paradise. And I am so grateful because I get to interview two souls on a roll. And we have an event that will be taking place on September 17th at Sonder Studios. So fun, so great. And we only have 3 tickets left. So step right up, step right up. And the presence who I'm DTO. I'm an award-winning producer, also run a wellness and retreat center called Embody. And as I speak right now, I'm actually underneath this yoga shala in my recording studio. And in case you want to record, check it out. This is my studio. Yes, so much fun. So if you want to record a song, guided meditation, audiobook, podcast, all of it's available. So once upon a time, I moved to Costa Rica in 2020. This is our beautiful 2,000 square foot teak flooring yoga studio. We have international retreats, and it is a beautiful place for people to come. So check us out at any time. And today's guests, I want to jump right in. I get to speak with Megan of Sonder Studios and her dear soul sister, Allie. So let's bring these incredible women on camera. Here we are. Nice to see you, ladies.
Hi.
Hey, DTO. Thanks so much for having us.
Yeah, I'm not ready to rock and roll with that. Wow. Already got the moves going.
The musica, getting everything going. And I cannot wait to be there on the 17th and really bring this festival style yoga plus live music plus assists and just people being in connection. So I love that I get to be on tour. I love that we met. Big shout out to Andrew and Scott of the Berkshire Yoga Festival that brought these incredible East Coast communities together. Yeah. So what a great experience the Berkshire Yoga Festival was.
Yeah, awesome festival. Awesome festival. Can't wait to be back next year with you.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I'm already looking at my 2026 tour. It's going to include a few countries as well, like going to Australia, be heading to Europe. Yeah, it's interesting because when I look at all the analytics of who listens to my music where in the world, it's really cool that I get to see where the impact is being made. So it's so great to plan tours that way. Yeah. And the impact of me being on the East Coast. This will be my very, very first gig ever in Maryland. So thank you for being my debut hosts.
Yes. Really thank you for choosing us. Thank you for choosing us.
Yeah. It's been in such a beautiful connectivity, and yeah, just being in the flow feels really great because, you know, I've been building this retreat center with Himalaya for the last 5 years roughly. And so the festival scene is coming back, and of course, a lot more activity happening. And I want to remind people that are watching live, this is the live stream. So you can comment, ask a question, you can share. And of course, the #1 world language now are called emojis. So you can just drop your favorite emoji. And if you don't know who I am, I'm DTO. You can check me out on all the places and spaces. So every superhero has an origin story. How did it all begin? So let's speak into that, Megan. So what is your origin story with yoga?
All right. So I have adopted that my whole life has been yoga. So my origin story starts with my adoption when I was just 3 days old. And, you know, I'm not sure that's how I always would have answered, but I am a student of the whole of yoga and a student that really reveres yoga philosophy and specifically Sankhya Darshana. So I understand now that my whole life is actually yoga. And so my origin story starts that I was adopted. You know, you don't have control of what family you're born into and where you end up. And so it's for the first many years of my life, I just did the thing that was expected of me and my family, and had a really blessed childhood. And yeah, there are some pictures of me. That's the first time my mom ever held me after bringing me home from the hospital. And yeah, had a blessed childhood, even rode horses for most of the time. From the time I was in elementary school all through high school, I rode horses. And so it was just kind of figuring out that like this big wide world existed that really I claim as my origin story. And then as you saw, there was a picture of the novel Siddhartha, written by Hermann Hesse. I read that. It was required reading in 8th grade. And when I read that, it opened my eyes to the hero's journey that I most resonated with. And so once I read that book, I just sort of had a new outlook on life. And I think I adopted this real love of India and the concept of Siddhartha's journey. It wasn't until decades later that I got into yoga, but I was introduced sort of there at that very early young age. I was just like 14 years old. So that's my origin story.
Yes. So great. I love that. And I'm an uncle through adoption. So Kaya was adopted when she was 6 months. And so I really resonate with your story of, so lovely. Just when there's kindness in the world and connection, just warms my heart.
Yeah. And things are meant to be. And, I think we spend so much time trying to control or understand and seek. Siddhartha was such a seeker. And then at the end of the journey is this understanding that it's all playing out exactly as it's meant to. So that's what I've come to adopt. I didn't start that way, though. Please know that it's been through my studies of yoga that I've come to this peace within about that.
Oh, so lovely. Okay, Allie.
Yeah. So my origin story starts back when I was a little girl. And I used to, it's really inspired from my father, who's now 90 years old, who has always been a fitness fanatic and to this day still is. He still goes back to his workout room at 90 and pulls out the books that he's had in his workout room for years. And as a little girl, I would go down there and I'd be so interested in the pictures of the muscles and the bones. And he would sit and explain everything to me. And that's where the whole idea of this whole body health conversation began with him, because he talked to me like I really understood. There was no dumbing it down. And so that began to start to arrive in my heart of that it's not just about what you look like, but it's about the whole body experience. My father eats very well, and he's always sort of integrated that into my brain. And so from that, fast forward into my late 30s, and I'm now a military wife and mother of 2 wild boys. I'd moved 14 times, but somewhere around that 9th move, the toll of moving that many times really had an impact on me. And my life then became sort of a story of nothing that stopped me completely in my tracks, but a sense of kind of losing myself. I was feeling it physically in my body, as well as like my heart. I just didn't quite feel like myself again. And at that point, I like to say that yoga found me because I wasn't looking for anything, but I was invited to a class and I somehow found this beautiful space where I was able to realize I could breathe again. And that was the pivotal change. This constant going and holding and gripping in my body, something began to shift. And it's through little bits of moments of finding a class here and there and finding a moment to settle in and feel my body that yoga just arrived. And I learned that I could connect with myself.
We're all connected.
We're all connected. That's right.
I have a song called "We Are One," and there's a moment where it says, "We're all connected." It's like, yeah,
yeah, we are.
That's it.
And I love your journey of, the gift of slowing down, right? Breathing, being connected. And remember, don't take life so seriously. You have to get upside down sometimes.
That's right. That's what it is. You gotta
Allie's
have
good at
fun
that.
with it.
Oh, I love that. I love my stretching, the handstands, the adjustments, all the postures. I have a funny side story. I remember the first time I was in yoga. I'm in a male body, of course, and I'm 15 years ago, and I was into like trail running and doing things like really rough. And first time I was in a yoga class and I was cued to get into pigeon, my body for some reason had this response of like, oh my God, that's impossible. So I like burst out laughing in the middle of the class. like, yeah, right. You want me to do what? Like a pretzel? Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, I don't move that way.
Yeah. And of course, 15 years later, if you watch me in that posture, I'm very comfortable. I can put my third eye down on the mat now. And strength, balance, flexibility, especially for not the physical body, but flexibility of the mind, strength of our, fortitude, and just the balance of, I'm a Libra. We were in the green room talking about, hey, there we go. Team Libra. This will be a pre-birthday event on the 17th, right?
That's right. You guys are coming up.
Yeah.
We're going to roar and restore all of it.
That's right.
Amazing. So both of you learned about this practice of yoga. And so in chronological order, at some point from the teacher perspective, you got to witness how it was to be guided and how other leaders were in this position of empowerment. And as you said, it was my joke, by the way, yoga teachers just get paid to remind you to breathe.
Yeah,
true.
It's literally, it's the best job ever.
Right.
Very, very, very few expectations. Just
absolutely. And
something that's free. Yeah.
Totally. And you all know the first album of mine, Nameless Energy, the first song is called Breath. So I'm the guy that with my music says, okay, everyone, just take a breath. So the path of the teacher, how did that come about for you, Megan?
Yeah, so I think I have some pictures of my early career, starting with art and food, and I kind of went through all of it. Yeah, these are all the places I lived as an adult. Overseas, I was a foreign service spouse, so I had to give up my career. These are some pictures of my family. I had to give up my career to follow my husband's career. I, in the process, had 3 kids. Those are my parents. Those are my adoptive parents, still living, and we see each other all the time. So I was on this path, like I said, from my origin story of just trying to figure it out and following what I loved. Like I said to you behind, in the green room, I said, I just say yes to everything. So, I went through studying art, and then I went to culinary school and worked in the food industry, and then I fell into fitness because I had to undo all the food stuff. So it just was this like kind of crazy path of trying to figure out who am I and where am I supposed to be. And it's interesting because I was in fitness, in the fitness realm, and I was at a big fitness conference, and I heard it started with a sound, which for me is very important. That is really where it started, was that I heard this woman's voice, and she was explaining something about fitness, but she was explaining it from a yogic realm and a yogic mindset. And I just sort of like, who, is it angels? Like, who's talking? And it ended up being a woman that has now become my yoga teacher and my mentor. Her name is Crystal Say. And, I was there for fitness, and she just started talking in these yogic terms, and her voice was very soothing. And I just said, I don't know what it is that you just introduced to us, but I'm really interested and I'd love to follow your journey. And so long story short, it was through following her that I finally found my way to yoga. And started practicing more seriously, even though I had already been introduced to it for quite a long time, but started practicing it more seriously. And then when I found my voice as a yoga teacher, that's when I enrolled in 200-hour yoga teacher training. I already owned Sonder Studios before I even became a yoga teacher. So you need to know that like we started off as a fitness place that had yoga on the side, and now we're like a yoga place with fitness on the side. So yeah, it's just interesting, right? Like you just don't know the twists and turns that are gonna add up to where it is that you're supposed to really settle in. And I love that story. I love that aspect of my story. I don't regret any of it, and I don't resent any of it. I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful for all of the little bits that added up to being a yoga teacher and having a yoga studio and a yoga community. So yeah.
Amazing. And Allie is a part of that community. So how did that begin for you to become a teacher?
Yeah, well, what inspired me to become a teacher, kind of right off the bat, was because I was called to share what was living inside me. Everything that I had been through, from the journey of health and health challenges and the rediscovery of myself through the practice of yoga, I knew that in my bones that change was real and that healing can happen. And not in some weird, abstract sort of way, but in real, messy, quiet, beautiful ways. And I didn't want to be quiet about that. I knew that I definitely wanted to share that story. And I wanted to help lead others, even if just a bit of what I could share could help someone just sort of lead them down that path, then I knew I was on the right track. And specifically in the way that I teach, I offer a lot of hands-on assists. Yeah. And it's because there was a turning, unexpected shift that happened during my 200-hour yoga teacher training. My teacher, Kelly Precourt down in Florida, she always offered these most amazing hand assists. They weren't forced in any way. They arrived with compassion, care, and a lot of clarity in her assists. And each time she placed her hands on me, it was like my nervous system just exhaled. And I somehow found that this was really what I needed. It was so supportive and it was so safe. And that cracked something completely open inside me. And I knew that having a teaching practice that involved hands-on assist was definitely going to be a path for me. I knew that this was going to be a big part of how I was going to offer a safe space.
Raise your hand out there if you love assists.
Yeah,
That's
and
right.
Allie gives the best. I mean, people at the end of class just sort of walk out with this like either tears or just like this buzzed sort of like, I don't know why this is so blissful, but like, thank you, Allie.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what it is, right? It's like sharing what lives inside you. You have to do it. You can't not do it. Right?
Yeah. And the path of the teacher, as we see above here, is what is your path, right? Is it the path of that connection and that hands-on, right? We have parts of us that activate when it's like, I just feel held right now. And also, what do they say in yoga? About limitations, right? Just find your edge. So your edge can actually be introduced to you possibly for the first time with just a little like 10% nudge, and you're like, whoa.
Yeah, it's just like hands on the shoulder blades. And it's like, I didn't even know I was holding that. That's the experience. That's what I see. That's what I see unraveling in front of me. And I feel it underneath my hands as well. It's just like, there's no pushing. It's just there. I'm here. Presence. And that helps people. Presence. Yeah, absolutely.
I love that. Amazing. Yeah. Okay. So when we are able to be in presence, we call this a flow state, right? When things are just like boom, boom, I got this handled. And oh my gosh, I got this incredible message today. And they're so lit up because they were in this class with, hands-on assistants, and, they are just so grateful to be a part of the community. So how do both of you ladies arrive to a place to be in that space? And so creative process is important. It's almost like us sharing our behind the scenes of what practices and rituals we have. Go ahead, Megan.
Yeah, so this is actually my favorite topic, the creative process. This is what I studied in college, and this has really informed everything that I've done since then. In fact, in our 300-hour yoga teacher training, in our advanced yoga teacher training, I lead a session on the creative process. And so I love it. So thank you for asking about it. For me, what I have determined is important for my creative process is a balance of being exposed to other people's creativity and then having plenty of time for rest for myself. And what I mean by that is I have made it non-negotiable that in my creative process monthly, I have to take myself to some sort of other creative exhibition, whether it be dance, as you can see there, that's from the Martha Graham Studio series, or visual arts, that's right there in New York City at MoMA, or to be in the energy of a city. So that concept of other people's creativity, not like, oh gosh, let me get inspired by this artist and see if I can recreate what they do. No, it's like immersing myself in the in the knowing that another human is having this creative heartbeat, this creative energy exude from them, and it just like speaks to my creativity. And it just is this like no words needed conversation of like, yes, like, thank you for being creative. Thank you for saying yes. Thank you for bringing forth what's bubbling up inside of you, because I needed that glimpse of your creativity. And so when I get that, then that broils up inside of me, my own creativity. But it's important for me also to like have a little reflection time and kind of do nothing. So, I mean, I spend time in other people's creative space. And then I spend a lot of time sort of like on the back porch, watching the fan spin around, or watching the trees, like the wind in the trees. Like there has to be some serious downtime. And then usually by the time I'm ready to stand up, I know what I need to do. And then it just happens. So that's my process.
I love this. Yeah. Meditation, so many different ways. And when you say porch, it always gets my Iowa boy brain, because there's just something about just sitting on a porch.
Sitting on a porch. That's right. Yeah, you're going to like it here in Maryland. You're going to feel quite at home. We're in rural Maryland. So.
Oh, I love it. Well, I grew up working in the cornfields, so I'm definitely that generation. I'm the last of the like had to paper out with the bicycle.
Oh yeah. Well, we still have people here working in the cornfield, so
that's great.
Like the high schoolers. Great. So you'll feel.
I love it. I love that work ethic. Yeah. I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing. All right, creative process for you, Allie.
Yeah. So for me, my creative process has always been, and still to this day is, that it's all about embodiment. I have to be on my mat. There's just no other way. Daily, to get on my mat, to feel sort of like what's arriving in my body this morning, how I'm working through tension or opening, or how I'm feeling energetically and how I'm tending to that. And really having this self-connection that I need, that's where it's born from. And then from that, I have this journaling process where I just need to sit and write it all out. Every thought, feeling, emotion, sometimes pages and pages, not on the computer, pen to paper. I have to feel the paper underneath, and I just sort of get through this written understanding of kind of where I am and how I'm showing up in the day. And from that, there comes this teaching. And from that, that's where it's born. And being able to be blessed enough to hold space for other people begins with first holding space for myself.
Yes. The method to the magic, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Love that. So creativity, we're a part of creation. I feel like creativity is a birthright. And of course, when you have an idea or vision, Megan, of having a studio come to life, I'd love for you to share what is the process, as you talked about behind the scenes with meditation. And for viewers out there, feel free how the name Sonder came about, maybe define it for everyone, and just talk about the role of being the visionary of Sonder Studios.
Yeah, well, thank you for asking. So I told you, and you saw from those pictures, I've moved around a lot, and I've had this sort of on the go life. And about 5 years into living in Maryland, I started feeling real restless. I had been working in the fitness space and had worked at several studios and gyms further away from my hometown, and thought, I think I might be able to do it. And so one day I was Googling the word wanderlust, and because that's what I was feeling. And it was like synonyms of wanderlust, and up popped Sonder, and I read the definition, which is that there's a realization that each random passerby has a life that's just as vivid and complex as your own. And I was like, that's my word. And then I went through the process of getting my business plan, getting my SBA loan. And it took a year from claiming the LLC to opening the brick and mortar. Like you, and we had this conversation offline, but like you, I opened up this brick and mortar in the middle of the pandemic. We were supposed to open up March of 2020. And then as the universe would have it, we luckily had a pause because there was something that needed permitting. And that happened on like maybe March 13th that the permit got denied. And so thank goodness, because otherwise I would have opened for one day and then been shut down. So it worked out fine. It worked out really well, in fact. And we opened our doors. Grand opening was on June 20th, 2020. And we've been rocking and rolling ever since. We've been full.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I'd love you to. It's growing and flowing. So I'd love for you to speak on these images that you shared. So adoration.
Yeah. So adoration is a Catholic practice of meditation. And so that actually is something that I had adopted way before yoga was on the scene. And, it felt like home to me, and it felt like this is where I was getting some answers. And so that was part of my origin story as well. And, kind of like these hints, I kept getting hints of like a yogic lifestyle, but it wasn't like yoga or a yoga studio. It was sort of like all of the bones of yoga without having that like label on it. And so once the label finally came, I was ready to receive it. Yeah. That was, I think that was March 19th, 2020.
Right.
Yeah. In fact, that's my basement. So yeah, that was March 2020, where it was like everything just sort of came to a halt. It was like, oh my gosh, all of our family savings that we've put into this studio, and is this going to go forward? But it kind of goes back to that concept of what we learned through yoga, is that, Ishvara Pranidhana, that you have to surrender to God, surrender to a higher power. And so I relied a lot on my faith to be able to do that. And here we are today, getting ready to host DTO.
That's right.
It's all happening. It's coming together.
Yeah.
Raise the vibration.
Raise the vibration.
Absolutely. All right. So now that you have the studio, you've had this inspiration to become teachers, fall in love with the practice, breakthrough moments, fresh perspectives. Now you have the studio, right? And of course, when the shift in the matrix happened, I popped
Yep.
down to Costa Rica in 2020. And yeah, change is constant. We've heard that since we were a child, and we always forget sometimes as adults. We're like, oh, yeah, change is constant.
Yeah.
Emotions are temporary. Okay. Repeat after me. All right. So, what happens in the next phase is community. And I feel that impact really matters. And as I was sharing earlier, for me, when I wake up and I can see either quantitatively, like how many people listen to my music and what countries in the world, or qualitatively, like how people receive that, for me personally means a lot. So what kind of responses have you had in your community? And feel free to share individual stories, or just in general, what kind of ways have people responded, Megan?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think opening in the pandemic was such a blessing for our community, and it had nothing really to do with me. It just had to do with timing, is that people so badly needed connection. They so badly needed a place where they could feel again, feel period again. And so they were ready, and we were very fortunate. Maybe you had this experience as well, that because there was this risk of losing all of that connection when the doors were open for a place and a team of teachers that knew how to foster community. People were just here for it, and they just have been here for it since the day we opened. And they're just so it's just it's a beautiful thing. And like I said, when you get here, you're going to see just how small our hometown is. We are in rural Maryland. It is not fancy. It is not big city. It's rural. And I think I speak for Allie and I, and for the whole Sonder team. Like, we're happy serving this community, this population. I think once upon a time I had this dream of like, oh, maybe I'll own a yoga studio on the top of a skyscraper in New York City. But it's just like, actually, this right here, this small studio in this community, this is where I need to be. This is where I want to be. This is where I am. And so I'm embracing that. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
There's me and Allie.
So lovely. Amazing. Okay, Allie.
And that's what's still happening. Like, people are still coming in and saying, this is my saving grace, this class, this community, this, thank you. I mean, we get thank yous, and it's just like, Megan did that. Megan held true to like all the obstacles, all the things that she had to, she's like, she knew it in her heart, and it is serving the community in such a big way, because this community is close, not in a weird close, but like, we're like, we see you, and people feel seen. And so they can't wait to get in. Quite honestly, they're just like, this is my home away from home.
I do have a very funny story about building yoga at our studio, and that is that for men, I would say for 85% of the people that came to the studio in that first 2020, so few of them knew very much about yoga. I mean, like, when we said chaturanga, like, people didn't know what to do. We had to
like,
say,
what?
It's a plank that you lower down into a push-up. Like, I mean, like, seriously, like, we introduced this
yoga
concept of yoga here in Calvert County, Maryland. And one time Allie was taking a class, and she went into, she's this beautiful statuesque woman. Just wait till you meet her. And she goes into chaturanga, and she like lifts her back leg as she goes down into chaturanga. And so she's like this 3-pointed, like, beautiful thing. And like, I mean, people went into like child's pose, and they're like, whoa, you can lift your leg in chaturanga. Like, what is Allie doing? So, it's just like that kind of thing where we really had this opportunity to introduce, and we grew up together. Let's put it that way. We grew up together as a yoga community. It's not that like, oh, we opened up a yoga studio in a community that had yoga. We're the only yoga studio in the county. So, we have this real special ability to like continue to grow together. And yeah, we love our community. I mean, it's just
and quite honestly, it's changing lives. Like, that's the truth of it. Like, people are really in tune and in the flow, as we like to say. I mean, they're making big, beautiful lives here.
Mhm.
It's exciting to watch.
Mm, yes, I love that. It's so great. I always remind us that there's 4 stages of communication. I feel like this is exactly what you're sharing. Like there's the sender, then which are the both of you are the senders, and then there's the message, which is yoga can impact and change your life, and then there's the receivers, like you're actually on the mat doing that, and then the fourth part, which a lot of times we forget, is the feedback. So sender, message, receiver, feedback. And I think that's important because when you can feel that, see that, witness that, it can really keep your juices flowing of like, okay, this is working. Like there's this place.
It's just this loop. It's this loop. And I think that that kind of, goes back to my creative process of like, it's just a loop. We just have to keep bringing forth what's inside of us, right? Like Stephen Cope talks about that in his book, The Great Work of Your Life. Like, you have to bring it forth. The world, needs the gift that you have. Like, don't hold it back. Don't hold it, possessively. Like there's enough for everyone. There's enough for everyone. And Allie and I tell our YTT students all the time, like, don't worry about what other yoga teachers or yoga studios are doing. There's enough people out there in the world that need yoga and need a yoga teacher. And like, literally, like we could have 9 million more yoga teachers and there would still be enough work for all of us to do. Like, just share it. Just share what you have inside of you. Please, please, please. That's what we need.
Yeah. Be authentic, because that's what the world needs.
So good. This is a great opportunity for us to share our invitation for everyone watching to join us on the 17th of September.
Hey there, it's DTO. Let's raise the vibration, roar, and restore.
You don't want to miss this.
I welcome you to Sonder Studios, September 17th from 6 to 8.
We are so excited to have DTO joining us, coming all the way from Costa Rica.
For an extraordinary experience that Megan and Allie will be guiding you, and I will be playing soundtrack music designed specifically for yoga, ecstatic dance, and sound healing.
This is more than a class. It's a full body vibrational experience. So mark your calendars and I'll see you there.
Join us. Pura vida.
There's magic here, I can feel it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I can't wait. Counting down the days.
Yeah.
Completely. Yes. So yes. I love this. I love that we're all connected globally in our communities. And here's your opportunity to have your closing words, each of you. And I see people behind you, Megan. So
yeah, we've got a class starting. It's okay. They'll probably like photobomb.
You have your autograph.
Yeah.
So closing words can be any advice you give the people, any invitations you have to share, and just any words of wisdom on your path.
Yeah. Trust the cadence of your life. That's my advice. Yeah. That's it.
Wonderful. Yeah. Just, be authentic, be yourself. That's what the world needs. And you can find me on Insight Timer. I have offerings there. I have opportunities for you to settle into your own home and put your earbuds on and settle into a meditation and just arrive authentically through yourself. And that's what the world is really craving for.
Thank you so much. Big shout out to the whole community of Sonder Studios, acknowledging you, Megan, for beginning this incredible journey, not only for yourself, but community. And keep on enjoying your day, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you, DTO.
You're so welcome.
Opportunity.
Everyone right here, Sonder Studios.
Woo!
Check it out. .us.
Thank you, guys.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Been traveling across oceans of time.